Am I the a-hole for cutting up and altering my wedding dress into a functional dress instead of giving it to my sister who can't afford an expensive dress? I need an unbiased opinion on this because I don't know if I was the asshole. Throwaway because I am active in other communities and I don't want this to mix. So I was supposed to get married 2 months ago to my ex-partner of 5 years. Sadly, we broke it off because he cheated on me on his bachelor party with a stripper. I had this beautiful dress that cost me around $2,000, out of my pocket. I had been very depressed since everything happened because I felt it was somehow my fault for not being sexy enough or not giving him what he wanted. So last weekend I decided to take my power back and I began altering the dress. I have been sewing for 15 plus years, so I know what I am doing. I cut it a bit, changed the color to something less wedding-y, and after a week of work I had a beautiful gown that I could use for more stuff. The problem comes now. I uploaded that picture of the dress to Instagram with a caption that said something along the lines of, "You can change the worst memories," or some shit like that. My sister hits me up and asks me if that was my old wedding dress, and I told her yes. She then called me and asked me why I had done this. I asked her why it was such a big deal. And she told me that I could have waited till after his wedding. I was so confused. Then she reminded me that when we were staying at the hotel where my wedding was supposed to happen, my mom and sister were there cheering me up, and my sister said something along the lines of, "Oh well, if you are not using it, I will." We all laughed, so I thought it was a joke because it was never brought up again after. She just asked me once what material it was, so I assumed she wanted something similar. Now my sister is mad at me and my mom says she understands our povs. But that I could have waited 5 more months till after her wedding to take my power back. AITA, edit, yes he F. The stripper, please stop asking me. Edit 2, what the F is wrong with some of you? Suddenly I am the a-hole for leaving my ex for cheating on me because it doesn't count because it was his bachelor party. Do you know how relationships work? Are you also going to tell me that if he cheated on a Saturday it wouldn't count? Or if he left the country? This is hilarious coming from a sub that says cheaters are the worst people in this world. Cheating is cheating, period. Comment 1. NTA. I think it's pretty insensitive for your sister to expect to use your wedding dress. She needs to consider how painful it would probably be for you to sit at her wedding and watch her walk down the aisle in the dress you were supposed to wear for your wedding, which then turned into a terrible memory. You do what's best for you, and you should feel proud of yourself for reclaiming your power and turning the dress into something new and positive for you. Comment 2. I find it surprising that the sister would even want to wear it given its history. Congratulations. Your wedding dress is beautiful. Thank you. My sister's ex cheated on her, so she didn't need her wedding dress anymore. I mean, even if she doesn't tell anyone, she has to know that she's only wearing the dress because her sister's wedding was called off. Her wedding would forever be associated with that shitty, miserable situation. Gross. It's absolutely understandable that you assumed it was a throwaway joke of dubious taste. Because it's not something someone kind or generous would actually be able to go through with. Update. I posted approximately 5 months ago about my sister being mad at me for not giving her what was supposed to be my wedding dress. So after being assured that I did nothing wrong, I decided to try to talk it out with my sister. So I tried calling her, but she had blocked my number. I was very confused and talked to my mother. She was trying to still stay out of it, and I got a little mad and said that it was not fair. That my sister was not right because she never formally asked me, and how was I supposed to just guess that she wanted it? She tried to justify her, but in the end also accepted that my sister was wrong. Nonetheless, she told me to just give her space and that she will just come to terms with it herself. I waited a few days till I met her in the supermarket. At first she tried to act like she didn't see me, but I planted myself in front of her. She was just rolling her eyes, saying she had places to be. And I just said, "You know, I hope you notice how unfair you are treating me," and then left her alone. That night I received a call where I was berated for being selfish for about 20 minutes by her. I asked her if she was done and asked her if we could talk it out like adults. She came over the next night and we had an exhausting fight. Screaming, crying, and after all was said and done she actually apologized for everything. She was kind of jealous of my dress and of the wedding I almost had. And she was embarrassed that she couldn't afford everything I could and that she felt like she failed as an adult and as a mother. And honestly, I get it. Not because I think she is a failure, but because I get how it feels if your brain tells you you failed at life because you don't have things that other people have. She apologized also because she was trying to blame me for her problems and that everything was easier if she wasn't the one to blame. We talked a lot more time till I told her that she didn't need a fancy dress and that we could search something basic and I could help her to decorate it with something. She agreed and we actually did get to customize a very basic gown. As we didn't have much time, it's not super fancy. Sadly, due to the outbreak, the wedding, that was supposed to happen this month, was cancelled. They had a courthouse wedding where she wore one of my dresses and she is celebrating in August if it's possible. That's everything. So even if I was not an asshole and my sister seemed like a brat, she was dealing with some heavy feelings and I still love her. Thanks for the judgment and advice. Comment 1. I remember the original post. It's always good to read a follow-up where people work it out in the end. Thanks for updating us. Comment 2. I remember the original as well. I love it when adults can get together and have a talk to face. There's so much miscommunication and so much stuff bottled up. It's great when you can just hash it out. You sound like you have a great relationship with your sister. I'm a little jealous, and you guys are moving ahead. Thanks for the good feels.
Next story. My 40 male, wife 36 female was seen holding hands with another man. My wife 36 female and I 40 male have been together 5 years and got married last year. We definitely have our ups and downs, but we're generally happy. On Friday, she went out with people from her work for Christmas drinks and arrived home around midnight absolutely hammered. She just said she'd had a good time and went straight to bed. Yesterday, I got a message on Instagram from an anonymous account claiming to be one of her colleagues saying she'd been flirting all night with one of the guys from the office, 44 male, and they'd left together at about 9 to walk to the train station. The colleague had a couple more drinks then went to the station herself and says she saw my wife walking hand in hand with the guy through the station at about 10:45. They didn't see her. Last night I showed her the message and asked her for an explanation. She claimed she was so drunk she doesn't remember anything that happened after about 8 p.m. I asked if she went somewhere with the guy after they left the group and she checked the location history on her phone, which confirmed that they had gone to a bar near the station for about an hour. They arrived at the station at 10:40. She gave me her phone and insisted I check it and there were no suspicious messages or anything. As far as I could tell, she doesn't have the guy's number in her phone and they're not following each other on Instagram or friends on Facebook. I asked if she was flirting with him and she admitted that she was talking mostly to him all night, but that's just because he's the only person in her office she has anything in common with and that they're just friends and it wasn't flirting. She's mentioned this guy to me before and said how much they have in common. I asked if they were holding hands and she said she doesn't remember, but she doesn't think so. She claims to know who sent me the message and says it's a woman in the office who hates her, although she doesn't know why. Today she's been in a terrible mood and we've not really spoken. So that's where we are. I'm not sure what to do. Is this as big a red flag as it seems to be? Comment 1. There are a collection of issues here, but the terrible mood today seems a big one. The information you received is largely correct. It looks a bit fishy, and instead of reassurance she is in retaliation mode, no doubt focusing on her office rival. She should be apologizing and doing what she can to defuse the situation. Getting so drunk you can't recall and focusing on a particular man and going off privately with him. I wonder what she would feel if this was something you had done. Tell her to lose the attitude and figure out how she plans to sort this out. Comment reply I. Opie should really focus on this advice. She voluntarily gave up her phone for examination. Unless she has a second cell phone, chances are that she isn't having an affair. Opie should check her car for it. If there is no affair, she should at least be attracted to him to get a point where she is holding hands with him. That combined with the fact that she isn't going into crisis mode but is generally just pissed at her colleague points to the fact that she is a shitty partner. Not necessarily a cheater, but a very shitty partner nevertheless. Update. A few people requested an update to my last post and a lot has happened in the last week, so here it is. I'll post any further updates on my profile. TLD, my wife, Sam, got drunk on a work night out and was seen holding hands with a guy from her office. Sam came home from work on Monday and casually said that she'd spoken with the guy Tom and he'd confirmed that they hadn't held hands, they'd just been walking arm in arm because she was drunk and wearing heels. I asked why her colleague Helen would make an Instagram account, track me down, and message me saying they held hands if it wasn't true. She said Helen is basically in love with Tom and made a pass at him just after his divorce, but he rejected her. I asked why Helen would feel threatened by her. She said because her and Tom are friends and Helen's a crazy jealous bitch as evidenced by the Instagram message. I asked why she went for a drink, just her and Tom. She said that according to Tom they walked past this bar with an amazing live band playing, so they stopped in for a drink. Her only regret was doing too many shots too early and getting shit-faced. The next day she went shopping after work and came home with a new dress. I asked what the occasion was and she said her work Christmas party. Last week was just drinks with people from her office. The company Christmas party is on Friday. Apparently she'd mentioned this. I hardly slept that night. The next day I decided to reply to the Instagram message to get some more info. I asked, do you think anything's going on with them? Helen, I assume, quickly replied with a long message saying that they flirt at work and everyone's noticed. Apparently Sam was going to be let go, but Tom put in a good word, so she kept her job. Tom protects her in the office and will constantly defend her. She also said that Sam bitches about me to the whole office and it's clear we don't have a happy marriage. I asked if she was going to the Christmas party and she said she was. She said she'd update me if anything happened. Sam finished work early on Friday, so she had time to get ready. She looked amazing and I really didn't want her to go, but I felt like I couldn't say anything. I got an Instagram message about midnight saying that Sam and Tom hadn't interacted at the party, but that people from the office had decided to leave and go to a different bar. They all left just before 11 and were at the new bar by 10 past. Sam and Tom turned up just before midnight. Sam arrived home about 2 a.m. not quite as drunk as last time and went straight to sleep. I pretended to be fast asleep. I looked at the location history on her phone. After leaving the venue, she'd taken a 3-mile detour to a residential street, stayed for half an hour, then gone to the bar. I sent the address to Helen. She didn't reply until the next morning when she said it was Tom's house. When Sam woke up, I just asked her straight out if she cheated on me with Tom last night. She angrily denied it. I told her that I knew she'd been to Tom's house. She accused me of spying on her. Called me controlling. Said she was going to stay with her sister. I demanded an explanation and she said she went to his house so they could smoke a joint before heading to the bar. Then she stormed out. She wouldn't reply to my messages or answer my calls all day Sunday. I called her sister who said she hadn't seen her, but she texted me later that she'd spoken to Sam and she was okay. Sam came home yesterday morning. I asked where she'd been and she just said she couldn't do this anymore and wants a divorce. She went to start packing some clothes while I tried to get her to talk to me. I asked if she was leaving me for Tom. She once again denied anything inappropriate had happened between them but said my jealousy was the final straw. It's clear I don't trust her. I'm controlling. I take her for granted. She's deeply unhappy. Has been for a while. So she's gone. It looks like I'll be spending my first Christmas alone. I have no idea if she was telling the truth or if it was an affair. Weirdly, I'm not feeling too bad today, so maybe this is for the best. Final update. Just before Christmas, my wife left me after I accused her of having an affair with a coworker. I thought I'd give an update. Once she was gone, Sam blocked me on all her social media and refused to return my messages or answer my calls. I ended up traveling to the other side of the country to spend Christmas with my parents. On Christmas Eve, Sam came home and took more of her stuff. I watched her on our security cameras. I tried phoning her, but she ignored my calls. Christmas wasn't great, and my parents were both shocked and in denial about what had happened. They had no idea we were having issues and insisted Sam would come to her senses and come home. Eventually, I just said she'd met someone else. I returned home on the 27th. I'd been getting sporadic updates from Sam's sister, just letting me know she's alright but without any details. Before all this happened, we'd made plans to spend New Year's Eve at Sam's favorite bar in the city. I went on my own, but she didn't show up. On Tuesday night, I received an Instagram message from Helen saying that Sam and Tom had arrived at work together in Tom's car. I didn't bother replying. On Wednesday night, she sent another message saying Sam was poisoning the office against her and that Tom was pushing upper management to transfer her to another office or get rid of her. She begged me to do something. I texted Sam and said we needed to talk, but she didn't reply. So the next day I called her work switchboard, gave a fake name, and got put through. I could tell she wasn't happy to hear my voice, but she agreed to meet up after work at a local pub and talk. I got there early and she arrived 25 minutes late. She apologized for ignoring my calls and said she still cares about me and wants to end things on good terms. I said just tell me the truth. She promised that she wasn't having an affair with Tom and they were just friends. She admitted that they talk a lot in the office but insisted it wasn't an emotional affair. She understands why I was suspicious after the Instagram message but said I should have accepted her denial and trusted her. She has a lot of male friends, but she felt like she couldn't hang out with them because I'd get jealous. I pointed out that I've never told her not to hang out with anyone, but she said I'd be in a mood whenever she'd hang out with a guy friend. She feels like we only got married to try and fix a relationship that was already broken. Our conversations have devolved into small talk and we've drifted apart. I said I'd heard that she and Tom arrived at work together. Sam said she went to Tom's after I accused her of cheating and knew it was over between us. They spent the weekend together and agreed that they'd make a better couple than we did. She needed me to know that nothing happened between them until after she'd told me she wanted a divorce. And now they were together. And she wanted me to hear it from her before I saw it on social media. Tom was waiting outside for her in the car. All I could do was stand up and walk out. Sam texted me saying she knew I was upset but not to do anything stupid. I blocked her number. I'm not gonna lie, it was a rough night. The next day I was just numb. Didn't really do much. Over the weekend I dug out our marriage certificate so I can start divorce proceedings. I've no idea what to say to Helen, so I haven't replied. I think the plan now is to try and find a new job closer to my hometown. I moved across the country to live with Sam and I've never really felt settled here. I also don't want to run into her and Tom around town. Luckily we rent. This will probably be my last update unless something miraculous happens, so thanks for reading. Comment 1. Don't do the pick-me dance. Be decisive. Report analysis. She cheated, gaslit you, and now wants a new relationship without being labeled as a cheater. Only root for you is let her go, shut down, check out. Anything else will be a prolonged, unnecessary series of updates. Comment 2. She's lying her ass off. She could have gone to anyone's house to spend the night, but she went to his. Didn't decide that they'd make a better couple till after you called her out on it. She was cheating the entire time, got caught, and lie. It was emotional and physical. Now she can blame you for everything. It's all your fault 'cause you're insecure and didn't trust her. Complete BS.